First of all, the impact on your breakers job, does it mean you can do both?
I can do both. So the Tall Blacks commitments are going to be around about July through August, most for the next couple of years. Next year is a little bit more condensed because of being an Olympic year. So hopefully we beat Australia this year in the qualifying series, but if we don't, there'll be a repechage tournament that we'll be preparing for sort of end of June, July to try and qualify for Rio. So unfortunately the commitments mean that I can't coach in the New Zealand League any longer after this season, but I still will be able to do the breakers role.
All right, how excited were you when the announcement came? Obviously it's something you would have sought after ever since retiring as a player.
Yeah, it's what I set my sights on, and since I got into coaching, I wanted to coach my country. That was the number one goal, and to be able to get there is obviously a huge honour and pride, and getting that phone call. And I got the phone call where it was 3 days after we won the championship up with the Breakers, and we are getting ready to go on a fishing trip. So that Wednesday was a pretty good day. Get the phone call that I got the job. I couldn't tell anyone, but then go spend the day on the water with the team, and again talk about our celebrations and accomplishments. But it was a pretty special time.
What is it they like about you, do you think? What made them think you'd be the best fit?
I don't know. I have to ask them. I just went into the whole process and tried to put my best foot forward. I spent a bit of time on my CV and touching that thing up and getting some reference letters from people that I thought knew me and knew my abilities and my strengths. And then when I got the interview, spent a bit of time on really concentrating on what my goal and what my visions are for the team and for the program, and basically spoke my way through that. There was obviously something there that they liked and appreciated and could relate to, and like I said, just being able to get that phone call to say that I got it was pretty awesome. You've
carved out a pretty impressive track record in a relatively short time as a coach. You've won an NBL with Sharks team that wasn't even competitive before or didn't exist a few years ago, and then of course the success with the Breakers, that all helps.
I guess so. I don't know how in depth they look at your track record and what you've done, but I have no control over what people think of me. All I can do is just try to be the best coach and the best person I can be, and that's what I'm focused on. And if it works, I'll keep doing it. If I feel there's a time where I need to change or evolve as a coach, and I think I'm always evolving as a coach. I think I'm a much better coach from when I started back in Hawke's Bay 4 or 5 years ago to where I am now, and hopefully I'll continue to develop, evolve and improve over the years to come. I think as a coach, there's never a time that you can stop getting better. So it was the same as a player. There's always little things that you can work on and try and improve and just to better yourself. So I've got that same mindset as a coach, and so far so good, but I'm definitely not going to sort of lean back and take a rest and exhale. I just so motivated to do you're coaching, you're representing your country. There's no greater honour, so I want to do everything I can to make sure that the team's in the best place that we can do well.
How's your relationship with Pero? I know he would have been keen for the job, but he's there as your assistant, but you're great mates for a long time, so I imagine you'll find a way to work together.
Yeah, he's been awesome. He was the very first person to call me and congratulate me after he got the news. So that was a really special conversation to have with him, fully supportive. He was disappointed, gutted, I imagine. He's been coaching for a little bit longer than me, but he's such a huge part of the Tall Black program and New Zealand basketball for a long, long time. But the one thing I wanted to make sure is that if I got the job, he was going to be right there by my side. If he had got the job, I would have been right there by his side as well. So we had a little pact going into the interviews and going into we knew what was up for grabs. But Pero's fine. We've sat down a couple of times and we're totally focused on the team and on the group and beating Australia and getting to Rio now, and that's all our focus is, and that's all his focus is. So yeah, there's been absolutely no issues there.
All right, take us through the program when you get together, when you have to sort of name your first squad. Let's go that far.
July 8th we'll go into camp. and have a 2 or 3 day trial, and then we'll cut that squad down to probably about 14 guys. And then it's basically just building up for the Aussie series, which is the 15th of August. Game 1's in Melbourne, and the 18th of August is in New Zealand. So in between that time, it's just preparations. We'll spend some time in New Zealand in camp. Then we'll go to Europe to play some games, back through China. We will play in the Stankovic Cup. It's all part of our preparation, and then the 2 games against Aussie. So yeah, it's going to be a great year. It's a short window. It's about 5.5 weeks, I think it is. But there's a pretty big cherry to be, or carrot to be aiming for, and Rio in 2016 is something that a lot of these guys haven't had a chance to experience, is going to Olympic Games, and it's a special time, and you only get a couple of shots at it, so you want to make the most of it.
It's a best of 3 series. Is a third if it's 1-1?
No, it's a best of 2. It's an interesting format. So 2 games. So obviously the points differential comes into it. So even if we have 1 win each, it goes back to the points differential. If it's the same, I don't actually know who goes through. We might have to play 5 minutes overtime or something. So yeah, it's a huge series and a huge opportunity for us. Game 1 is an Aussie, but you sort of bring the series to close it out at home is I think it's quite an advantage to be able to come home and play that final or deciding game in front of your home fans. So again, a really good opportunity for us.
And good to hear that you're off to Europe, where you'll get some comparable competition, won't you? Because you need some really hard games in a short time. Yeah,
we've got confirmed Croatia and Slovenia, 2 very, very good teams. And then in China, we've got the Chinese national team, Venezuela and Mexico. So all those games are confirmed, and hopefully we'll be able to pick up another couple of games in Europe. So all those games are high quality games, and it's all based around preparing us for what is going to be a very good Australian team. They have 7 guys in the NBA. There's several guys playing in high level leagues in Europe. So if they get everyone, they're going to be a hell of a team. But as always, we'll always put our best foot forward. It's Aussie versus New Zealand, so you don't look at that as an excuse. You just see it as another challenge to try and beat them.
Do you have access to any particular NBA player that we might be keen on?
We're working on it. Obviously Steve's he's a guy that will help any basketball team that he's on. So we're going to work with him and his management team about trying to make it work. If he can commit to the whole program, great. If he can't, maybe we have to work with him about time commitments and how long he's with the team. But we're starting that process, and OKC have given their blessing that he's allowed to play, and Steve really wants to play. So now it's just about making the schedule work for both of us, and I'm optimistic that hopefully we can make it happen.
I know we've had New Zealanders in the NBA before, I'm sure Marks and others, but Steve seems to have made it. Is it too early to say that? Has he made it in the NBA from your point of view?
Well, he's definitely made it. Yeah, he's I guess you sort of, how do you define made it? I think for him, he's having a great impact in the best league in the world. But I think he's only been playing basketball for, I don't know how long, 4 or 5 years. I mean, it's ridiculous how his growth and development, that learning curve has happened so quickly. So I think he's going to be a very, very good player for a very, very long time, and along the way he's going to make a lot of money.
Let's take positives. You beat Australia, get through now. Do you have a program to go into, or do you then have to sit down because you don't know the result of that game and work out how to get from here to Brazil?
Yeah, right now our total focus is on the Aussie series, and this year alone. Whatever happens out of that series, then we'll start planning from there, whether it's planning for the Olympics or planning for the repechage tournament that we'll compete in to try and get to Rio as well. So
will that be the repechage be this year, or we have to wait till next year for that?
That'll be next year. So that'll happen right before Rio. I'm not sure exactly the dates, but it'll be.
We don't care. We won't be playing.
Exactly. So I mean, that's what I mean. Our focus is on the Australian series, and whatever happens from there, we'll make our plans accordingly.